I realized I have to steer the ship right now, and I'm probably the worst person that could have possibly been left here to steer the ship.
What do you mean? I'm right here.
To be fair, I memorized pretty much the patois of Jay's opening.
I mean, thank you, but why? I'm right here. Guys? Guys?
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Star Wars Every Week Forever, the show where we watch one Star Wars movie every week forever. This week was episode 4, A New Hope. Chris, how was your watch?
Okay, I guess we're firing right out of a rocket here. We're off to the races. Well done.
It wasn't great. It wasn't fantastic. It was, you would think that it would be like a welcome reprieve, but I almost kind of preferred being thrown up on like I was during the watch over having, because it was like, cool, I can get up and I have to get this cleaned up. I don't have to watch Star Wars right now while I'm doing that. So it was a nice reprieve. How was your watch, Lawrence?
My watch was pretty good. I watched with my partner who loves Star Wars very, very much. So they very much enjoyed the experience. I liked checking to see who was pronouncing it Leia, not Leia.
Yeah,
which was a fun game. We discovered pretty much just the British actors.
Yeah.
and then because I'm a creative person, I was like, so if her name is Leia, we could just pretend this is a really big Old Testament story.
I'm sure George Lucas would have some words about how, there's, the whole, oh, it's poetry, it rhymes, there's biblical themes and, all this. But I'm sure you ask George a question about anything and he'll be, oh, yeah, of course. No, that was 100% planned. That was absolutely the idea.
Of course, my watch was better than yours because I've only seen this movie like 4 or 5 times.
This is very true. Yeah, audience, you'll probably notice by this point this episode's a little bit different this week. Ben is currently in the process of moving. We've talked about it a little bit, I think, on the show. Ben's moving at the moment, so he wasn't able to quite make it this week. But there's gonna be a little bit of a different episode. We got friend of the show Lawrence here tonight, and well, Jay, how was your watch?
Oh, not bad. It's a New Hope, so that's usually a pretty easy watch.
Oh.
What?
Okay.
What?
Sure. Oh.
No, I mean it's an easy watch.
All right. Oh, okay.
No,
Hey, that's all right.
Saying it's an easy watch. What do you?
Keep it together. We got
what?
This. All right.
Oh.
Everything's gonna be great.
Okay.
Some brand new thoughts from Jay coming out of the woodwork.
What? I said it was an easy watch. You want me to hate the watch?
To say the least. That's we'll have to circle back to that next week.
That it was an easy watch. Okay.
So. Okay. This week we do have to continue the theme of the rotation, which we brought up and then totally forgot about for an episode and had to make up on last week's. The continued the continued fan fiction of how we would tell Jar Jar Binks' story throughout the entirety of the Star Wars franchise if he remained as major of a character throughout the entirety of the franchise.
Oh, I'm so lucky.
I'm very excited to have you here for this tonight, Lawrence. I'm very excited to have you here for this tonight. Very interested in your thoughts. So as we've already established, Jar Jar Binks in the Attack of the Clones, after being the hero of Otoh Gunga, was elected mayor of Otoh Gunga. That was the B plot of the movie. Was dealing with, the various diplomatic happenings of Otoh Gunga, and was just getting needled left and right from his number 2. Just couldn't get anything done. This guy was a real asshole. Come to find out at the end of the movie, it was Palpatine's secret extra apprentice. Palpatine's always got those apprentices in the wings, and I believe, if I remember correctly, Jar Jar Binks murdered this character in cold blood by strangling him. I don't remember what Jar Jar did throughout Revenge of the Sith, but I know it ended with him going into exile on the only planet possible that had been removed from the Jedi archives, good old Dagobah. So Jar Jar goes to Dagobah with Yoda, and so that's where his story picks up in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. It's been 18 years, 18, 19 years, something like that.
What is the life expectancy of Gungans?
That's a fantastic question, actually. What is the life expectancy of Gungans?
Where is Ben when you need someone to look something up on Wikipedia?
Yeah, right? Ben, come on, you're slacking. Jay, what do you think? Do you happen to know offhand what the lifespan of a Gungan is?
Roughly 65 years, I do believe.
I don't think that's a little off topic, but all right, that's.
But it's what you asked.
Oh, okay. All right, no, that's fine. Any word on the lifespan of Gungans, Lawrence?
They start as tadpoles, which is gross.
That is gross.
I don't think anything that starts as a tadpole should end up as a bipedal creature. Just a thought that I have.
That actually leads me to another question. How the hell old was Jar Jar supposed to be in Phantom Menace?
Also an excellent question.
Old was Jar Phantom. What? How old was Jar Jar Binks in Phantom of the Opera is one of Google's autocompletes.
Helpfully from the other room, my partner has informed us that according to legends, the Gungans live to be 65 years old.
That's what I said.
So Jar Jar was about 20. So yeah, he'd be in about his late 30s, going into his 40s in A New Hope.
All right, so New Hope, we got almost 40-year-old Jar Jar.
40-year-old Jar Jar.
Who's 2/3 of the way done his life. Living in a swamp with Yoda for company.
Down the barrel of old age. Whose strange speech pattern do you think has rubbed off on the others by this point?
Oh. I just tried to mash together the disarrayed Yoda speech with Gungan talk, and I think I threw up in my mouth a little bit. Chris, you put that out there.
Oh, I got a new impression. I need Ben to try when he gets back.
Why don't you give it a try, Jay? I want to hear your version.
Yeah, Jay, you could probably do it pretty well.
Oh, some things, it's like Romeo and Juliet, where they shouldn't come together, otherwise there are terrible repercussions, even if it's so right. So, I don't think I'm going to do that.
Well, that's ooh. We might get some letters about that one.
You're right. I shouldn't have upset the Romeo and Juliet stands. We play that game enough with the Raylo shippers,
That might get us back to Hellcourt. Shit.
Oh, I'm gonna be sick.
Whoa, are you a Romeo and Juliet shipper? I did not expect that, Lawrence.
Oh god. So what do we think? I assume, the way it was, in the original release of Star Wars: A New Hope, as we all know, Jar Jar Binks, pivotal character, just absolutely critical to the plot. Probably sent out by Yoda, I imagine, to go find Luke, just Jar Jar Binks on a one-man mission to go.
Here's the problem. If Jar Jar Binks encountered Luke, there's no way he wouldn't spoil the whole who your dad is secret.
That's true. That is true, actually. That's a fantastic point. Me to know your dad. Me to remember little Annie.
So it could be a really fun ongoing joke in the movie if they just they keep getting interrupted just before he could make the big reveal.
That would be a really good bit. Just every time he's about to spill it and then something happens, they're stuck in the trash compactor thing, and Jar Jar's like, Misa, before we die, you should probably know. And then the fucking monster comes up and just yoinks him down into the fucking water. Just,
Oh, that would be so good.
oh god. I'm trying to think, like, I know we kept joking the last episode, like, as we all know, making it a whole bit of, like, yes, he was, of course, in the original release of this movie, but, like, can you fucking, like, truly, can you fucking imagine just a scene of Jar Jar Binks and Han Solo in the same room together?
I want to be in the room when they tell Harrison Ford that not only is his best friend the tallest man in the world in a walking carpet suit, but he also has to act with the guy wearing that Jar Jar hat they used for filming to mock in the graphics.
Holy shit.
Because this is when Harrison still thought he was hot shit too, right? So
I don't think Harrison Ford would have made it to the end of filming of this movie if that was the case.
It's like, I'm sorry, who am I filming with? Walking carpet, two guys wrapped in metal, some 20-year-old kid, and a really hot 18-year-old chick. Have fun.
Incredible. Oh my god.
Oh, also this guy wearing a hat.
I know it's a thing we've talked about on the show too, but oh my god, does that look hilarious in real life? The fucking hat they had on him.
Oh, I love it so much. Everything about it makes me so actually impressed with, like, even like the little cardboard child actor, because like this is what he's acting with. Like, you gotta give him some credit.
Yeah. Those are some of my favorite photos. Is fucking Liam Neeson just like this fucking thing. Oh man. Well, in true Star Wars Every Week Forever fashion, we are because of this Jar Jar bit talking more about another movie other than the one that we've watched this week. But yeah, I don't really know. I assume he just goes on the adventures with the rest of the gang. This movie is a weird one where, like, I don't know how much I can warp reality here and really change much about the movie if you include Jar Jar other than slapstick. Because that really is the problem. Is in Phantom Menace, Jar Jar was just there for, like, slapstick humor and added no substance.
Yeah, and they have R2D2 and C3PO for that in this movie.
But
Mostly C3PO.
yeah, so I guess we'll pick up next week and we'll continue on to see what Jar Jar's doing in Empire Strikes Back, because other than the name, the reveal bit, I can't really think of anything for Jar Jar to do in this movie.
Is that the one with the Ewoks?
No, Ewoks is I almost said The Last Jedi, Return of the Jedi. That would be the last of the original trilogy. Next movie is Empire Strikes Back.
I don't know what that one's about.
Yeah. Speaking of, this is a very rare opportunity on this podcast for someone who has not watched this movie every week for what are we on, 12 rotations at this point? In 2.5 years, something like that. How do you feel about this movie when you watch it?
Well, most of my experience with this movie comes from listening to the podcast. And, like, I guess my first impression is it isn't that bad. I watched a lot of John Wayne growing up, so, like, I can definitely see the Western influence on it, especially with, say, Han and the bar, or the cantina. um, the CGI worm guy, the hut guy, was a little distressing.
Yeah.
Also,
well, see,
much better than I anticipated him being.
Yeah, that's a new scene too. Like, that's I don't know how much your partner has filled you in on this trivia. But that scene was not in the original cut of the movie. That was one of George's things he added for the special edition.
Well, they filmed it at the original time. They just
Well, yeah,
didn't
it was filmed. Yep, it just wasn't actually in there.
just didn't have the effects for it.
Yep.
They couldn't make Jabba Jabba.
Yeah.
But also, is he really just like the same height as Han Solo? Because I felt like, and my memory isn't great because it's been a while since I've seen the one with the carbonite and stuff. I felt like Jabba was bigger than Han.
Yeah, that's something interesting that Roger Ebert pointed out in his one review when we were going through that last rotation, where in Return of the Jedi, Jabba does seem bigger, and he points out, like, I don't know if it's, he keeps getting bigger and bigger, or if he's just up on a platform, so he looks bigger. I think he said if he's supposed to be like a slug, slugs grow their whole life, which I think, if I remember correctly, was pointed out that that's not how slugs work. So, I don't know what Roger Ebert was talking about, but that's why he's reviewing movies, I guess, and not studying slugs.
Yeah, decidedly not how slugs work.
But so what, for someone who's only, what do you say, 4 times you've seen this movie?
Yes.
This is something we don't get to. I love that this is just turning into an interview episode where I'm just like conducting an interview. Um, what is it like to listen to this podcast where we have fully lost our fucking minds talking about these movies and then watching this movie? Like, how warped is our distortion of these movies at this point?
I have to say, you miss a lot.
Yeah.
You
we get so wrapped
basically all
up
the good
in,
parts.
yeah, we get so wrapped up in the tiny bullshit that we make into a ridiculous bit, or we hyper focus on, that we just miss the larger fucking parts of the movie.
Which is interesting because then I kind of watch the movie, despite listening to this podcast every week for 2.5 years. I kind of watch the movie a little spoiler free. Like, I know how it ends, but I don't really know how they get there. And I
Very
know,
funny.
and I know that,
like
like,
that.
Peter Cushing is wearing slippers, and fuck, the green face guy Greedo is wearing high heels because that's a woman. But like,
Well, that's something I think we've talked about, like, peek behind the curtain or whatever. Like, whenever we call ourselves out, essentially, of like, we keep looping back to the same dumb shit every single episode, and it's really gotten to a point that, at least for us, is hilarious. When it's the same. You would think after 2.5 years we'd move on to new stuff, but it's always just, it's the same stuff. I feel like we're so tired and we're so numb to Star Wars at this point that we cannot muster the effort required to talk about other stuff at this point.
well, it's like, because I watched the podcast, I knew that, like, when they entered like the shooting the Death Star scene, I turned to my partner. It's like, okay, tell me which one's Ewan McGregor's uncle, because I know that he's a guy who's in there, but I didn't know who he was or what his name was. It turns out he's one of the hot guys from the Robin Hood TV show I used to watch.
Okay.
I was very gay for him. It was great.
I did not know there was a Robin Hood TV show.
Oh, it was so good. It's very British. It's amazing. The guy who plays Thorin Oakenshield plays Guy of Gisborne in it. And he's also extremely hot. In case anyone was wondering, which nobody was, but there you have it.
Do you have any notes for this, your viewing of this movie? Did anything jump out at you?
Well, one thing that jumped out was womp rats are fucking enormous. Because 2 meters is not small. 2 meters isn't small at all. It's actually quite big.
It's something that's probably lost on a lot of the American audience, because, like, that's not, nobody fucking knows the metric system in the U.S.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Being non-American, I was like, 2 meters. That's longer than a tall man is tall. you can be over 6 feet and you're not hitting 2 meters yet. So like, I'm not that impressed that he can hit the Womp Rats or that, and I don't think it's a complicated shot they're taking.
Oh man, it is really funny content, and it's again something we have never talked about on this show. But yeah, no, that is. And again, I wonder how much of that is George Lucas not understanding units of measurement that are like, what's the this is again pointing out the American
Imperial.
education imperial. There it is. Yeah, whatever it's called.
We're throwing over the monarchy, but we're keeping their measurement system.
Yeah. We won't adapt to the rest of the world that's using the metric system. We're gonna keep the imperial system.
What else? Oh, I know my partner and I made a bunch of jokes about parsecs being a distance, not a time.
Mm-hmm. Again, something I think we've actually talked about that a little bit, but it's another one of those things that like, and I don't know if anyone's ever gotten an official answer on whether or not that's even a thing that George Lucas knew about or cared to, just care. He's heard a word at one point and was like, that sounds like a futuristic way to measure time.
Yeah, and it's not. It's distance, and it's a lot of distance. It's 3.26 light years.
I think if I remember correctly, they tried to fix that in Solo, or they tried to explain it in Solo.
Yeah, it's about how he hyperspace jumps. Blah blah.
Yeah.
At least they tried, man. But I enjoyed Solo, mostly probably because I know very little about Star Wars.
Again, I've only seen Solo a couple of times at this
Oh,
point.
I've only seen it once. Star Wars movie I've seen more than any of the others, Rogue One.
Which is probably the best way to go through life, is seeing Rogue One more than any of the other Star Wars movies.
And having Rogue One being the movie I'm most familiar with, the opening scene to A New Hope is so fucking funny. I'm sorry, I dropped my F-bomb early. But anyways, it's so dang funny how she just looks him right in the face, and it's like, I just followed you for, I don't know, 3 hours, you pain in my fucking ass. Like, we have literally followed you from the planet. We've watched them beam it up to you. we have pursued you this whole way here. You knew we were there because you were running away from us. And now you're gonna look me in my face, in my big ugly helmet, and tell me.
That's 100% something we've never even talked about on this show, but that is so true. How fucking funny Rogue One makes that. Where she is straight up like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
And like, every other person on that ship is 100% behind her with the, yeah, no, definitely we're just as like, they know he's gonna kill them all, and they're like, nope, don't know, but like, just a diplomatic mission.
Like when you're watching like Cops or one of those other like propaganda shows, and like they're driving behind someone who's doing like 90 down the road, they toss shit out the window. And the cops pull him over, and they're like, "What'd you toss out the window?" "Oh, I have no idea what you're talking about. What do you?" It's like, bro, I was right behind you. I just watched that happen.
You know, it's the whole vibe they give off, which is super fun.
Oh man, Jay, do you have any notes on your watch for A New Hope?
Yeah, Star Wars is a thing.
That's pretty interesting.
I suppose it is.
Yeah. No, you're right, Jay. I never thought about it that way. That's pretty insightful.
Are you all right, Jay? You're real quiet today.
Yeah, you're pretty quiet. I know. Audience, you'll have to excuse Jay. She's had a long week, so a little bit low energy, but that's all right. We're getting through.
Yes, I've had a long week. I've had a long week that is the same week as the one that you both are having right now. I've had a long week and am in the room with you, even though we don't seem to be communicating very well, but I am here in the room with you for sure.
We have we have Lawrence here, which is great. You know, first time on the show. It's new, it's exciting. We're going a different direction.
Uh,
God.
that's a very interesting question, Jay, but I'm not quite sure how to answer it. I would say lightsaber, then the Millennium Falcon.
What?
Final answer.
I mean, we're not on Deal or No Deal. I didn't ask you anything. What do you mean, final answer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's you know, I have to agree with Lawrence on that, I think.
On what?
You know, it just made sense.
I mean, it's the only answer, really. I mean,
To
come on, Jay.
what?
Yeah, give us some hard ones here.
You both leave me so flabbergasted and bamboozled.
So I know that Jay didn't have time to do major merchandise because major merchandise can't find her. She's hiding. And she couldn't do AO3 tags because if she goes on the internet, major merchandise will find her.
Don't talk about him. I'm in hiding. That's why this podcast is on the dark web. It's on the dark web because not because nobody can find the damn thing, but it's because I'm in hiding. I swear to God, I can't have major merchandise on my ass right now. Come on, Lawrence.
It's true. He did install tracker apps.
I know. I'm trying to dodge him. I'm trying to dodge him before he puts another brick through my window.
And we don't have Ben here to do weird Wikipedia. I have no gimmick to bring to the table for you, Chris.
You know, when you go down the list and you list all those things that I probably could have prepared for this week's episode and came here completely empty-handed, you bring up a good point, Lawrence. You bring up a great point.
I thought about preparing them, and then I was like, I'm an adult with an adult job and too many things to do.
Same. You know,
Yeah.
there was a brief period of time where I was going to do an AO3 tag bit, and then I remembered I have a child. Hold on, I do have a file where I've been compiling weird Star Wars merchandise. Let's see if I got anything fun here.
You summon some weird merchandise from the abyss.
Some weird merchandise. Oh, I do have this. So it's part of an article. There's really only one thing I want to highlight here. So the BBC put out an article a while back. I think it was during Force Awakens, where they listed a bunch of strange Star Wars merchandise, and one of them in particular I wanted to highlight, but we can go through the whole list, but really truly the first one I want to highlight is the first item on this list here.
So I'm trying to see through all the ads because I don't have an ad blocker like a psychopath.
Yeah, the ads are a little intense.
I'm sorry, is that a laptop?
Yeah, so it talks about this laptop, but when you scroll down a bit, you get to a different item, and that's truly the one I want to highlight the most. There's a couple other fun ones in here, but there's one in particular that makes me really happy.
Oh, there's some good ones.
And one of these we've already talked about, the final one, but I really want to highlight this first item here. It is a Star Wars toaster. And now, audience, I know what you might be thinking. Is it just a toaster with a Star Wars logo on it? Because we've seen some lazy merchandise come out of Disney Star Wars lately. No. This toaster is shaped like the head of Darth Vader. And the toast goes down into the top of his head. But the interesting thing here, and I have yet to be able to find out an answer to this question, in the photo is a pile of toast on a plate with a Star Wars, it just says Star Wars in the middle of
Bread.
Doesn't even look like toast, just looks like bread. So I'm going to assume this is just promotional footage or photos or whatever. but I really desperately want to know if it actually burns the letters for Star Wars into this toast. Again, I'm going to assume it's promotional, but God, do I wish that was real. And God, do I want like 5 of these, and I just want to mail them to people.
It's I can't imagine how unpleasant basically untoasted bread with burnt Star Wars in the center must taste.
Oh, it's awful. It's as awful as the fact that this toaster exists. Oh man.
Um, I think it's less confusing than the Star Wars fishing rod.
Thank you!
I'm glad that you brought that up, Lawrence, because the Star Wars fishing rod is truly just confusing.
Like, is this for adults?
Like, I, I was just getting this image of like 2 guys out on a lake. You know, they row on out. It's like, you know, some rural little town, 2 guys out on the weekend and just rowing out in the boat and just exhausted from working all week, and got their cooler full of beers, and he's putting his fishing rod together and looks over, and there's his buddy putting together this fucking Star Wars fishing rod that looks like a lightsaber. It looks like a lightsaber. It's designed where the handle looks like a fucking lightsaber handle, and it's got Star Wars printed up at the top, and then the rod itself. Now, this is an interesting fact. Both Lawrence and I are colorblind, so I'm going to assume I think the rod is red. It looks red to me. Could
Ah,
also be green. I don't
that is
know.
an excellent question, my friend. I thought it was purple, so
We're
because
hey,
we're different colorblind.
so this lightsaber fishing rod is either green or red, you know, or purple. Who knows? It's the Mace Windu edition. Um, but this is a thing that I think might be marketed towards adults. I don't know. Now the Wookiees cookies cookie jar, I do kind of want, if I'm being honest. I don't so much find this one weird as I do just I want it. I just want this. I would
Okay,
prominently display this in my kitchen.
I'm gonna interrupt. There's a whole fucking line of Star Wars fishing merchandise.
No fucking way.
There is a tackle box. There
Oh,
is a
no.
little bobber that looks like an R2 droid.
Oh,
They've got a Kylo Ren version. They have one that's like BB-8. What is going on?
yes, if you know, if you want a fishing rod styled after Kylo Ren's lightsaber, um, to think about all the times that just like Kylo Ren, probably your dad told you he was gonna take you fishing and then didn't. There's this.
Ironically, my dad did take me fishing.
My dad also took me fishing.
He only left me there twice.
No, my dad remembered to take me with him. I guess I make this joke. This is actually not one of those self-deprecating things that specifically Jay and I do a lot on the podcast, where we tell a really horrifying story and Ben is concerned and confused.
My dad always took me. He just didn't always remember to bring me home at the end. In his defense, I was usually hiding somewhere up to my neck in mud, trying to catch frogs instead of fish. But will you get off the table, you little nuisance?
No!
Yeah, Jay, what are you doing? Calm down. Jay, what's going on over there?
I am queen of the mountain!
You're being ignored. What was that?
This table is mine, I squat upon it, squatter's rights, I am the squat queen!
Okay.
I don't really know what that has to do with fishing, but okay. How do you feel about the Star Wars fishing rod?
Oh. I think it's very funny that it says if you catch Jar Jar Binks with this, please throw him back in.
Okay, well, our Our apologies to the people of Arkansas, I guess. I don't know what that had to do with Star Wars or this fishing rod, but okay.
I'm coming down from a high altitude, but I'm definitely sure I didn't say anything about Arkansas.
I want to know what the
Okay.
Venn diagram between diehard fishing enthusiasts and Star Wars fans is. Like,
I don't see a lot of overlap, but like it's got a whole like they have such a huge line. Maybe I'm wrong.
I would love to see some metrics here. Like, I want to know. I need some data. I want to know how profitable this line is for them. Like, is it just a bunch of nerds who buy this stuff and then don't actually fish with it, or are actual people fishing with this stuff?
It's I think I'm afraid that it might actually be like a big thing. I'm looking at
What in
gear.
the world?
I'm looking at tackle. I'm looking at water bottles. I'm looking at May the Fish Be With You leggings.
See, now the May the Fish Be With You thing, that definitely strikes me as just like some brand co-opting the phrase basically, and it's just explicitly about the fishing gear. Those leggings are fucking hideous. Are those like Jesus fish? Oh my god, is this even fishing merch, or is this like weird Christian merch?
It's weird Christian Star Wars crossover.
It's weird. Hold on, let's break down the demographic here. You're looking for someone who likes Star Wars, likes fishing, and loves Jesus. That is a person I don't want to meet. I'm just gonna put that out there.
My God, could you imagine having a conversation with that person? If you're listening right now, I am so sorry, but like,
If you own these leggings and you're listening right now, I have so many questions for you, and please don't contact me.
Ah, fuck both of you. Come on the podcast. I want you on the podcast.
okay, Jay, that's a little far. Come on now.
Yeah, Jay, come on. Whoa. Oof.
Oh, maybe we should steer away from the fishing. It gets Jay all riled up.
Yeah, I don't know what Jay has against fish.
I hate fish. You know, like the holiday special. Hey, it's like the holiday special. Hey, check out the holiday special that should be coming out in a couple days. Check out the holiday special because
I hate fish.
you know, I hate fish, you hate fish, we all hate fish. Hey, happy holidays.
I found something Star Wars merchandise that I would like to show you, and then have you describe to the audience, and then I want you to guess how much it costs.
Oh no. Okay.
If
This
I
is
can
exciting.
see around my cat. All right. So I'm gonna send it to you. You describe what that is, and then I'll tell you what it costs. No, first then you'll guess what it costs, and then I'll tell you.
What the fuck? Oh god, probably way too much. So it looks like some sort of hipster keyring. I think it's for keys, regardless. It's something key related. I don't understand how this is Star Wars related. Other than the Star Wars embossing on the inside. Yeah, so it's a fancy key ring. Oh god, I'm gonna guess it costs way too much. The price is right. This shit probably like $110.
Surprisingly, not that much. Now, to be fair, I'm
Okay.
working in Canadian funds here.
Okay.
So it's $69.90 Canadian.
Oh god. So
It
yeah,
is
probably about that's probably what, like 40, $50 US?
The description of the site says it's a key organizer inspired by an iconic Star Wars character, presented in custom packaging with a collectible character card. Transform your keys into a neat and silent stack with an award-winning and secure locking mechanism. Carry 2 to 7 standard keys with car keys and fobs on the D ring. An extension post is required if you have more than 7 standard keys. It is basically a leather loop with a post. It's black with a red stripe.
Now, I really hate myself for this, but I carry a lot of keys for my job, and I kind of want something like this, actually, if I'm being honest.
You absolute hipster.
I carry a lot of keys. It's
It
just
only
that's
holds
a lot.
7.
Yeah, I got like 6 or 7 on my my work key ring,
That's not a lot of keys.
which is on my that's a lot of keys for a tiny little place that I manage.
I have 4 keys for my apartment alone.
Oh,
That
see,
doesn't
I don't
include
even
car
have.
keys. That doesn't include work keys.
See, I live in a terrible apartment building. I don't have a key to my front building door. It's just open to the world. As are most apartments in the U.S., at least that I've lived in. I know we do have, nicer, fancier apartments that, yeah, you either have to have like a combination to get in or a key to the front door or something.
I've never lived in an apartment that wasn't in someone's house that didn't have a entry that you needed like a key or a buzzer or a code to get into. I don't know if we have them in Canada. Not legal apartments anyways.
Yeah, well, I don't know how prominent in Canada, like just apartment complexes are, like just these big, massive, fucking sprawling apartment complexes that we have here. Like my my apartment. Do I want to? I won't say the number, but my apartment number has a C at the end of it, and that goes to like G, I think, because there's that many buildings that they have to have like into the couple hundreds and then a letter to distinguish that.
I'm sure we do. Like over 40% of Canada's residential property is rental property, which is a ridiculously high amount, but that's just because nobody has jobs and nobody can buy a house anymore.
Curious what those metrics would be for US. This is going down a depressing spiral on the Star Wars podcast tonight.
This is my fault. I'm sorry. I talk about real estate all week at work. I shouldn't bring it onto your podcast.
Star Wars Every Week Forever, we are inherently anti-landlord here. I think I can say that on Ben and Jay's behalf as well. Jay, what do you think about landlords?
Fuck the lords of the land. Fuck the lords of the land.
I agree, but is the fire too much?
Feel like you're hearing what you want to hear.
Fire might be too much.
Let the record show, please, that I said nothing about fire. At no point did I say anything about fire. I just said, fuck the lands of the Lord. Or, even the Lord of the Lands, which, fuck landlords. That's all I said. Let the legal record show I only said, fuck landlords. Or specifically, lords of the land, which is a landlord, redistribute your private property. Okay!
It's definitely out of the box thinking.
Good call to action, Jay. I like it. I'm on board.
Yeah, I mean, the Star Wars Every Week Forever offices are now on a watch list, but it's fine. We there's a good chance we were already.
Power to the proletariat!
Oh man, I don't. This now, audience, this might come as a shock to you. I have no new or original thoughts on Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope, so I don't really know what to say about A New Hope anymore. I think we all collectively pretty much say that though when we get to these episodes these days, because like A New Hope is kind of the most like nothing inoffensive movie at this point, because it's just kind of like there.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie. I wonder how it plays for the majority of people who watched it before they watched the prequels. I did not. I saw the prequels first.
Oh, so you watched it like my wife? Okay.
Yeah. So I had no surprises.
that is a topic of conversation with my wife constantly. You know, now that we have a kid, like, well, how are you supposed to show a new person these movies? And I still hold true, and we've talked about it on the show a couple of times. And I think I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, Jay was on the side of watch the prequels first and kind of go on. But I think we've all kind of flip flopped a bit. But I think I'm pretty steadfast on you should watch it in release order still. And that's kind of the big reveal is definitely the thing, because it's like, I mean, what I feel like the OT loses a lot of steam without that.
Through the several times I've watched it, I'm a big fan of the modified machete order, the one where they stick in Rogue One before A New Hope.
Yeah.
So you watch the first one, then you watch Rogue One, then you watch A New Hope, then you watch the other two prequels, and then you pretty much watch everything else in order, so that you can still get the wow moment of the reveal, and then you get the.
So you watch. So it's Rogue One.
No, it's one, then Rogue One, then
So
4.
it's Phantom Menace. So it's Phantom Menace, Episode 1, then Rogue One, Episode 4, A New Hope, and then Empire.
No, then
With
it's
the reveal.
2. Then it's with the reveal. Empire with the reveal.
So it'd be A New Hope, then Empire, and then the prequels, and then Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's a really interesting. I actually kind of like that.
Yeah, it's designed to try to like give you all the good moments without ruining any of them.
Yeah. No, that's actually. Boy, is that a lot of work, but no, that's really interesting. I like that a lot, actually. I'm trying to picture how you convince a child to watch a movie in that type of order.
You don't have to. It's a child. You just tell them that's the order they are.
That's true. That's true. It's like, Dad, why do some of these movies look like shit?
Different directors, different budgets. We've all seen a Marvel movie. We know what different budgets look like.
That's true. That is true.
Anybody watch the Marvel series and still watch the Edward Norton Hulk movie while they do so?
Oh God, I haven't seen that fucking movie in forever. I actually thought about going back to watch that recently. I don't know if I'm in. Oh, here we go. We'll go comic book corner on here, Star Wars Every Week Forever. Welcome to comic book corner. I might be in the minority on this. I don't know, because people don't really talk about it much anymore. I like that Edward Norton Hulk movie a lot. I like Edward Norton as an actor.
So do I. I just don't think it goes with the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
No. And it's crazy to me that one is considered canon to the MCU. Like, that is
Right?
a MCU movie.
Like, they took Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. out of the MCU and then put that movie back in. That was very strange to me.
Which I will die on the hill that the first, like, 2 or 3 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. absolutely incredible.
Some of the best work Marvel's done.
The fucking Ward reveal. Spoiler alert for a very old TV show that nobody cares about anymore. The fucking Ward reveal and all the way it wrapped up into Winter Soldier, fucking incredible. Really fucking good.
Like, they worked so hard to integrate it with the MCU, so I don't know why they ripped it out of it.
Well, I stopped watching it at a certain point, and from what my dad tells me, they like went into another universe, and that's how they effectively said it was no longer part of the MCU.
Well, I think the problem was they put the Inhumans in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then they decided that that's not how they wanted to do the Inhumans.
Yeah.
And
that was
they decided that
really
the
bad
Inhumans
show.
weren't going to be Inhumans anymore.
That was a really bad show, and I was really sad about it because I like Black Bolt as a character a lot.
I'm super in the minority. I very much enjoyed those 2 episodes of the Inhumans.
Yeah, I wanted to like it so bad. And honestly, the oh my God, what's his name? Was it Maximus?
Boltigan, yeah. Maximus.
Yeah, like
By again.
Casting was incredible for that. Absolutely perfect casting. Even the guy that played Black Bolt, and they just brought him back recently for that other movie, Doctor
Doctor
Strange.
Strange. Yeah.
Yeah, with like the full comic accurate costume. It was fantastic. Just
Well, my thing is, with the Doctor Strange multiverse of madness, why don't you just make Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. canon again?
yeah, right.
Like,
That's
if
the
you
thing,
can
they've
have
gone so
three
balls
Peter
to the wall.
Parkers.
Yeah, they've gone so balls to the wall at this point with just like whatever. And I mean, there's all these rumors that they might be bringing back. Oh my God, what's her name? Chloe something, the one that played Quake. That she might be coming back.
Savigny? Is that her last?
No, Chloe Sevigny's someone different, but I know who you're talking about. No, it's Chloe something. I thought I want to say it's Chloe. Maybe I don't know actors and actresses. I
Chloe
think we're allowed. There we go. I think we're allowed to talk about MCU stuff on the show. It's all owned by Disney now, right? That's how it works.
Yeah. You can watch it all $6.99.
And since Jay's being especially quiet, I feel like I really can just go all in on the comic book thing for once on an episode. You don't have a problem with that, right, Jay?
I mean, we're getting pretty deep in the episode. It might not be the best idea to start that at 51 minutes. I mean...
Okay, cool. Oh, hey, I'm glad you're signing off on it. That's really cool. I feel like we should probably talk about comics a little bit. It's nice to branch out sometimes,
You know what? Yeah, you go ahead. You do whatever you want. I don't care. It's fine. Talk about comics. Or talk about the MCU, rather. I'm just gonna go ahead, put my feet up and take a nap. Have fun.
That's we've had such great conversations on the show about much loved Marvel characters like Armadillo and I've talked about the New Warriors, Darkhawk, all the A-listers.
Okay, if we're going to combine them, why don't we behave? Which Marvel character would you put into A New Hope?
I feel like it's got to be a cosmic character, right?
Doesn't have to be.
Just give me Gladiator from the Shi'ar. Punch Vader in the face.
Because like Gladiator, super cool. But think how funny like Jessica Jones would be. Just drop her in the middle of the rebellion.
Yeah. That's, I mean, God, like, just can you imagine Leia and Jessica Jones in the same room? We should probably not be giving Disney ideas because owning both properties, we've got to be maximum 10, 15 years away from a Star Wars Marvel crossover in the comics.
Fine. They'll do it in Lego though, so it'll be fine. What won't they cross over in the Legoverse?
It is incredible to me that they haven't just done like a very Kingdom Hearts-esque Disney Lego game, like just literally called like Lego Disney, and it's just all the various Disney properties just slammed into one.
Well, aren't they all in Lego Dimensions?
I don't think so. I think there are some packs because I actually enjoyed that game quite a bit. It's one of those weird games where like they were updating it very quietly for a while with new stuff, and then they just seemingly stopped. Oh wait, no. Am I thinking of no? I think I'm thinking of Lego Worlds. Which one is Dimensions?
They might not own any Disney. What do they have? They have Doctor Who, Adventure Time, Beetlejuice, DC Comics, E.T.,
Oh.
Harry Potter, Gremlins, Goonies, Jurassic World, Knight Rider, Lord of the Rings, Mission Impossible, Portal, Powerpuff Girls, Scooby,
Okay,
Simpsons,
so
Wizard of Oz.
So they did this already. It's just with every other property that Lego has the rights to, except for Marvel stuff.
Basically, yeah. They
Except
went
for
with
Marvel
DC
and Star
instead.
Wars. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. They went with the lesser known prop, which honestly, hey, that's an interesting move, Lego.
Yeah.
They went with the thing that nobody would expect instead of the very obvious thing that we're pitching.
I want to know how Knight Rider made the fucking list. The Goonies. I want the Goonies fight Jurassic Park. Let's go.
What a bizarre game that I didn't know existed until right this second. Holy shit.
I never played it, but I remember, I think it was Gail Simone was big into it for a while. One of the
Okay.
celebrities I follow on Twitter. Well, while Twitter is still there.
Oh, Twitter is still a thing.
I'm sadly watching many of my favorite artists pretend to be Elon Musk until they are eliminated from Twitter, which is
Still,
funny, but
again,
also sad.
open offer, Elon, fight me in space. I'm here multiple times. Open offer. Fuck. Yeah. Speaking of audience, follow the SWEWF Twitter account while it's still there. Before we're pushed behind every person who paid $8 to have a little check mark, because we're not gonna do that. Just a heads up, we're not doing that shit. Right, Jay? Right. Thank you. Appreciate the back.
Well, that is true. You are making negative money on this podcast.
We are making negative money on this podcast, yeah. And I'm not giving Elon Musk $8 out of the nothing we're getting from this podcast. Fuck you, Elon.
It's just a round of fuck you, Elon Musk, for the table. I know. I joined Mastodon.
I've heard a lot about Mastodon. I have no idea what it is still. I know it's like the Twitter alternative everyone keeps talking about.
I'm almost 40. I don't know if I can learn a new social media. I barely understand the ones I have. Like, I have Tumblr. I don't know how to use it. I just like pretty pictures and reblog them.
Yeah, I don't have time for new social media. And I'm only almost 30, and I got no time for new social media. I don't have time for the social media I'm on currently.
I know. Sometimes you pick up your phone. It's like, okay, so I got messages from Telegram. I got messages on WhatsApp. I got an email. I got Discord messages. I got a Twitter message. I got a text. I
had a Telegram for a bit because it was kind of how a lot of us were communicating for D&D stuff for a while, and then I somehow got locked out of my Telegram account. So
that's weird. It's tied to your phone number.
It's fine because, as far as I understand it, these days Telegram is mostly used by Russian intelligence groups, and it's data harvesting in the U.S. So it's probably for the best.
I don't know. In Canada, it's mostly used by furries.
Oh God, Jay, do you have any final thoughts on Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope, or comic books, or Twitter, or furries?
Well, yes, Jay, I do think you would be a furry if you wanted to fuck a Wookiee. Thank you.
I think that does make you a furry, yeah.
No, I think the proper term for wanting to fuck Jar Jar Binks is stupid, but also scaly.
Mm-hmm.
So he's an amphibian. Do amphibians count as scalies?
Come full circle back. Lawrence, congratulations. You have circled back to a conversation we have already somehow on this podcast. You're a true member of the SWEWF family now.
To be fair, Jay started it.
Oh my God, I can't believe this is a conversation we've had twice on this podcast.
Wait, I have resources.
What? What does that mean? I'm so scared.
I have people I can ask. I know people in the community.
We've entered the phone a friend segment of the episode.
I wonder if there's a name for it.
I think you got it dead on. I think that would be scaly.
Yeah, but
with my minimal knowledge of this community, I feel like you got that one dead on. I'm as we've established previously on the show, I'm not the furry expert. I'm the fan fiction expert.
There's some debate in the community.
There is some debate.
According to r/furry Reddit.
Oh, God.
A lot of people like slimies.
Oh,
Also, slippies is very popular.
don't like slippies. I don't like this as a term. Jay,
Um,
do you have any thoughts on the term slippies? Yeah, no, Jay, I believe that's what's called an awakening, if I'm not mistaken. Oh boy. Well, on that note, thank you, audience, as always, for joining in for whatever this just was.
You're welcome. I'm sure they'll never have me back.
You are welcome. Lawrence, trust me, you are always our first call. Thank you so much for joining me tonight for this. Joining me and Jay, of course. Any closing thoughts, Jay? Oh. Oh, we might have to cut. Okay, well, on that note, this has been Star Wars Every Week Forever. Thank you so much. Have a good night. And we are out. Oh, man.
Oh shit. I had the worst fucking dream where somebody suggested that Jessica Jones should be in Star Wars, and for some reason somebody calls somebody a slimy. Ugh. Guys? Guys, where'd you go? Hey, if you enjoyed us, thought we were funny, like our content, or just really love our suffering and want to hear more of it, we're available all over the place and release episodes every Wednesday around 12 Eastern Standard Time. You can find us on Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Player FM, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and in a unique format over on YouTube that our fans seem to dig. You can join in on the conversation over on Twitter as well, at SWEWF. We're quite active and love to hear from our fans. Sincerely, though, we appreciate you taking the time out of your day to spend with us on this car crash of a ride.